Can a simple change of material in an engine revolutionize the entire Formula One? And what happens when that change comes from Ferrari and takes Lewis Hamilton himself by surprise? What you are about to discover is the biggest technical trick ever revealed in the last 10 years in the Premier class, and it promises to change everything. 2025 marked the beginning of a new era for Lewis Hamilton. After more than a decade with Mercedes, a team with which he built a dynasty and broke almost all possible records in the history of modern Formula One, the Briton decided to change colors and embark on the most risky mission of his career: return Ferrari to the top of world motorsport. But what seemed like a new chapter full of glory quickly turned into a race against time, adaptation, and expectations. From his first real contact with the SF25, Hamilton understood that the path would not be direct nor easy. Despite his credentials as a 7-time world champion, even he needed to reinvent himself to survive in a completely different ecosystem. Unlike the meticulously structured environment of Mercedes, Ferrari is pure passion, controlled chaos and constant pressure from all fronts. The press, the Tifosi fans, the internal management, and, of course, the legacy of the oldest team in the championship. His debut on the track during the Australian Grand Prix was a test by fire. The car showed significant deficiencies in low grip conditions, the team's strategy left it exposed to traffic, and a timing error with teammate Charles Leclerc further complicated its performance. It added just 1 point, but beyond the numbers, the message was clear: Ferrari was not ready yet. And that is where the true emotional turning point occurs. Because for a driver like Lewis Hamilton, accustomed to operating with millimeter precision, having to relearn the codes of such a different car, of such an emotionally charged team, not only represents a technical challenge, but also a profound mental adjustment. His statements after the first GP were honest. "I thought I could make progress in my adaptation process, but I was wrong." He said it with humility, but also with the look of someone who realizes that he is in the most complex and perhaps most defining phase of his career. However, just when it seemed that the present would be a rough terrain full of doubts, a revelation came that changed everything. At an internal technical meeting in Maranello, the Scuderia's true flagship project was confidentially presented: the 2026 power unit, known internally as Project 678. What Hamilton saw and heard in that technical room was not only innovative, it was almost implausible. Years of secret work, technical decisions never before seen in F1, and a vision of the future as aggressive as it is inspiring. That presentation not only redefined his perspective on Ferrari's potential, he also made it clear that he was in the right place at the right time to be part of something truly revolutionary. It was not a simple evolution of concept. It was a total break with everything established. The emotional impact was profound. For the first time since his signing, Hamilton felt that he was not in Maranello just to close his career with dignity, but to open the door to a new era. To make history once again, this time with the prancing horse embroidered on the chest. For decades, aluminum has been the standard material for cylinder head manufacturing. Its lightweight, good thermal conductivity and ease of manufacturing made it the logical choice. However, with the arrival of the 2026 regulation, the rules of the game changed drastically. The new regulations require a 50% division between the power generated by the thermal engine and that of the hybrid system. In other words, engines will have to be more efficient, not just more powerful. This is where steel becomes the protagonist. Although much denser and heavier than aluminum, steel allows pressure and temperature resistance that aluminum could never achieve. This means that the combustion chamber can operate in extreme conditions, achieving unprecedented thermal efficiency. And when it comes to extracting energy from sustainable fuels, as will be mandatory from 2026, each gram of heat used translates into more power, more performance, and less need for cooling. But it was not an easy path. Internally, Ferrari engineers faced a years-long battle. The problem was not theoretical, it was practical. The steel cylinder heads, although they promised a spectacular gain in combustion, had a clear Achilles heel: durability. Under current regulations, each pilot can only use 4 heat engines per season. If the steel did not withstand that mileage without failure, the risk would be catastrophic. Ferrari couldn't afford to build a powerful, but fragile beast. During the development of the project, there were critical moments. By mid-2025, the program was all but scrapped. The bench results were not consistent. Cylinder heads warped or cracked under prolonged temperature cycles. The technical team even began parallel development of a version of advanced aluminum cylinder heads, using laser additive manufacturing to maintain competitiveness with less risk. And yet, Ferrari did not give up. That's when they turned to AVL, an Austrian engineering firm specializing in thermal simulation and extreme materials. It was this external equipment that managed to break the durability barrier, combining specific heat treatments and unprecedented internal geometries that allowed the steel cylinder heads to withstand thermal stress without compromising their useful life. The most extraordinary thing about Project 678 is not only that Ferrari designed a revolutionary steel cylinder head. What is truly impressive is how a single technical decision has generated a chain reaction that transforms absolutely every component of the SF26. This is not a powerful engine inside a conventional car. It is a complete redesign, a systemic philosophy where each decision enhances the next, and the whole becomes something much greater than the sum of its parts. It all starts with the unprecedented thermal efficiency offered by the new combustion chamber. By losing less energy as waste heat, the engine requires significantly less cooling than any other powertrain on the grid. And in modern Formula One, that is pure gold. Specifically, this allowed Maranello aerodynamicists, led by Diego Tondi and Frank Sanchez, to adopt an ultra-narrow side pod architecture. This silhouette not only reduces frontal aerodynamic drag, but better channels air towards the rear of the car, particularly towards the diffuser, the true heart of the ground effect that has dominated since 2022. Indeed, Ferrari is evolving towards a philosophy similar to that of McLaren 2025, the fastest car on the current grid. But with an advantage: having optimized thermal efficiency before, they can go even further in aerodynamic refinement. It's as if they've freed up invisible space inside the car, a luxury no other team seems to be able to afford so far. Lewis Hamilton has seen good cars, excellent cars, and true engineering gems throughout his career. But what Ferrari showed him with the Project 678 is something else. It is a beast designed from scratch to exploit every corner of the new regulations. And most importantly, it is a car that seems designed for him, for his style, for his obsession with technical perfection. The cascade of advantages generated by a single decision to opt for steel has allowed Ferrari to design a car where everything flows, literally and figuratively. And when that happens in Formula One, the result is not simply a competitive car. It is a weapon of war. Technical genius comes at a price. And at Ferrari, that price has been felt not only on the test benches or in the wind tunnel, but in the hallways, in the offices, and in the soul of the team. Because behind the revolutionary Project 678 there is a history of tensions, sacrifices, and painful departures that demonstrate that radical innovation always demands something in return. Wolf Zimmermann, the technical brain who arrived at Ferrari in 2014 after key years at Mercedes, was the original architect of this vision. His obsession with breaking with conventional solutions and exploring unexplored paths made Project 678 his personal mission. It was he who challenged Maranello's internal orthodoxy, who convinced managers to invest millions in experimental technologies. And it was also he who led the strategic alliance with AVL to develop the famous steel cylinder head that changed everything. But fate does not always reward pioneers. In September 2025, just a few months before the start of final homologations, Zimmermann left Ferrari along with his right-hand man Lars Schmidt. Both accepted an offer from Audi F1, which is preparing its official entry as a full team for the 2026 season. An offer that is impossible to reject economically, yes, but also a decision marked by internal tensions in the management of the project. The pressure, the differences with the Maranello leadership, and the exhaustion after years of technical resistance took their toll. Lewis Hamilton, who came to Ferrari looking for one last opportunity to enhance his legacy, now finds himself at the epicenter of that storm. His role is no longer just that of star pilot. He is an ambassador for the project. Media figure who puts a face to Maranello's technical revolution. Everything you do, say, or say nothing will be interpreted as a message about the internal state of the team. And that burden is heavy. Because although the Briton has shown enthusiasm and commitment, he has also recognized that the adaptation process has been slower and more challenging than expected. In his own words, "I thought I could accelerate my integration, but the reality is that this car, this culture, and this philosophy require time and humility." Hamilton, a veteran battle-hardened, knows that F1 does not forgive. Not even the media. Not even the rivals. Not even the Tifosi ecosystem itself, which is already beginning to get impatient with the lack of immediate results. The pressure to bring the project to glory does not fall solely on the technical department. It is now on their shoulders too. But perhaps the most interesting thing is what has not happened yet. Because Ferrari has not yet put the SF26 on the track. Everything that has been said about Project 678 is projections, bench tests, simulation data. There is no quick return. There is no pole position. There is no victory. And that is the last link in this chain of pressure, turning a brilliant theory into a mainstream reality. If Ferrari fails, history will remember Project 678 as a technical waste without results. If he succeeds, he will change the course of Formula One. And Lewis Hamilton, if he is the one to lead it to glory, could close his career with the most audacious feat he has ever attempted. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.